Hi, I'm Sebastian Cross. I'm a senior product manager at Pros. I'm located in Toulouse, in southwest of France, and I've been at Pros for the last 10 years or so, mostly focusing on the Smart CPQ and on its integration with the Microsoft ecosystem. So I will try to make the presentation as clear as possible, but if you have some questions after that, you can still join us at the Smart CPQ booth that is just right here in the Innovation Center, and I will be happy to answer all your questions there. And with that, today I'm excited to share with you how to extend your selling channels with Smart CPQ within the Microsoft ecosystem. But maybe just before I start the presentation, I'd like to do a quick survey. Who among you have your organization using Microsoft Dynamics? Could you raise your hands? Who among you are using the Microsoft Power Platform? So Power App, okay, so we have a lot of experts in the audience there, so keep me honest, no pressure. So today I'd like to walk you through three different types of scenario that leverages Smart CPQ and, again, the Microsoft ecosystem. The first one I want to talk about is one in which Pros massively invest is the integration of Smart CPQ with Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Sales. So we have, thanks to our partnership with Microsoft for years, we have an out-of-the-box integration between Pros Smart CPQ and the Dynamics CRM solution. And it allows us to address different types of selling scenarios. The first one is the spot orders. So this one is where the sales rep will add products and services to a quote, negotiate the price and discount from there, and all of this in a one-time buy experience. So in that scenario, all the quoting negotiation happen in Smart CPQ. And then everything is made available in the CRM. And from there, the sales rep can either decide to trigger an approval workflow with Microsoft Flow, for instance, or to leverage our Pros document module to generate a proposal document and then continue the workflow until the placement of the order. The second scenario is the sales agreement. So in that scenario, sales rep will negotiate prices for all or part of their portfolio of products for a given customer or partner, and with the intent to create a contract that will be the new price reference for future transactions. So in that scenario, all the negotiation of the content of the agreement, as well as the capture of terms and conditions, happens in Smart CPQ. And then within Dynamics, thanks to our dedicated Pros solution, the sales rep will be able to manage the life cycle of the agreement, so namely create it, renew it, amend it, also do some mass price change on a whole bunch of sales agreement. And the last one I'd like to mention, actually you may have seen the breakout session I made earlier today, is our subscription management workflow on top of this CPQ integration. And this is for a sales rep who want to subscribe to products and services that require a recurring billing. So in that case, all the same thing as for agreement, all the negotiation of the contract, all the negotiation of the terms are done in Smart CPQ. And then all the life cycle of the resulting subscription contract happen in Microsoft Dynamics. So, but among all those three scenarios, there is a core flow that I want to detail for sales rep. And this is more or less all the steps that are at the core of each one of those solutions I showed you. So the sales journey in that configuration starts with the creation of a quote in the CRM. Creating that quote there will also create it in Smart CPQ. And then you can open the quote in Smart CPQ and start browsing a catalog to add some product in your quote. If you have some more complex product or offer, you can leverage our product configurator. Within the quote interface, you can also start negotiating the price and discount. And that's where you can leverage our advanced pricing capabilities of the PROS platform. So in that example here, you can leverage the price optimization to retrieve a price envelope to price the product in your quote. And once all the negotiation is done, you will make all the relevant information available in the CRM. From the CRM, we have a Power Up widget in the quote object that allows you to generate documents based on Microsoft Word templates. And then once you have a generated document, possibly you can continue your workflow. So in that case, should it be triggering an approval workflow or create a sales agreement, subscription contract, whatever. Okay, so really those are the steps at the core of this integration. So what I like to do now is to show you that in action. And for this first demo, let's say I am a sales rep that want to sell configurable desktop computer to my customer. So in that case, I will start in Microsoft Dynamics CRM on the sales dashboard, from which I will be able to access my list of opportunities. So I can open the opportunity for this specific customer and review its content. And then, thanks to a dedicated tab in the opportunity, I will be able to start creating a quote. So with the PROS solution, we provide a quote form by default that embeds all the CPQ elements for you to go through that workflow. And in that quote form, you just have to give the quote a name. And then you can set the reference to the customer also in that case. Once you are done with that piece of setup, you can just save the quote. So as I said earlier, it will create it both in the CRM and CPQ. And then thanks to this Power Up widget here, you can switch directly to a given quoting step in Smart CPQ. The first thing I want to do is to access the catalog to start configuring my desktop computer. So I can do that from the home page in that example. And that's where, in this configuration, I can start to manually select some component of the computer. And as you can notice, the engine instantly manages the incompatibilities between those components by suggesting a solution that will keep the configuration consistent at all times. But I'm not forced to manually select all those elements. I can also rely on the optimization feature of the configurator. And this gives me some recommendation of combination of components based on some criteria like the performance or the power consumption. And the good thing is that it keeps in mind the element that I already selected manually. When I see the good combination, I can just review it in the configurator and ultimately add it to the quote. In addition to that, I can I can continue browsing the catalog to optionally add some additional accessories, like a printer, for instance. So as you can see, from CPQ within Dynamics, I can review the list of available printers and add some to the quote. Once this step is done, I now want to focus on the pricing of the content of my quote, and in the setting discount in that case. So I can decide to manually set the discount for each one of the elements, or I can do a mass action that will actually update all those elements in one click. And instead of just setting a value for the discount, I can also choose to be a bit smarter and to apply the target level of discount for all my elements in the quote in a simple click. So as you can see, a different level of discount has been applied depending on the item in the quote. Once I'm done, here I'm on a clean basis because I'm on the target discount, so there is no need for approval. And so I can start reviewing the profitability of my quote by leveraging the dashboard capabilities of Smart CPQ, and also the charting capabilities like the waterfall diagram here to review my margin and all the elements that influence it. Once I'm done, I close the quote. It made all the elements available in the CRM. And I can leverage this second widget here that is actually a widget for the pros document module of Smart CPQ that allows to generate some proposal document and to attach them to the code object in the CRM. So in the dedicated tab, I can review the code content, and I can also access to the document I've generated. In that document that is based on a Microsoft Word template, you can see that some of the code information has been inserted automatically in my proposal, and so my document is ready for signature. So as you can see here, this is really the core integration that we have between Smart CPQ and the Microsoft Dynamics ecosystem. Now, what I'd like to introduce today is a new approach that we have on top of this CPQ integration with Dynamics that leverages Microsoft Power Apps. So the idea is that it's really easy to encapsulate the pros solution that you've seen in action in a Microsoft Power App. And it allows you to benefit from all the power of Smart CPQ, but with a limited usage of the CRM that is driven by the Power App license itself. So what it means is that as an alternative to the full Smart CPQ plus Dynamics CRM capabilities, this solution is very interesting for organizations who require the use of a CPQ, but without the need of CRM capabilities. Let's see if, well, when you should consider leveraging this solution. So usually we recommend you to consider this solution if your users work on a low volume of quotes every day, or if they are leveraging some basic approval workflows. And the rationale behind that is because, as I said, the usage of this approach is limited by the Power App licenses. And so if you start managing a huge volume of data or go for too complex approval workflow, you may reach the limitation of the Power App. In that, also with that approach, we are talking about creating a model-driven Power App. And so for that, it means that you need to have an admin profile in your organization that is able to own this app, meaning to create it and to upgrade and maintain it over time. Obviously, you will have to purchase some Power App licenses so that this could be available. And last point I want to mention is that all the pros solutions, namely the CPQ integration, but also the sales agreement and the subscription workflows, are compatible with this approach, but yet you are responsible for monitoring the usage that is done of the overall infrastructure so that you do not reach the limitation of the Power App license. For instance, if you manipulate some very big sales agreement, it means a huge volume of data, and so we recommend you to carefully size your overall architecture so that you stay in the boundaries of the Power App approach. So what I'd like to show you now in action about this approach is how easy it is for your administrator to create that Power App and embed the Smart CPQ solution in there. So in that case, I'm an administrator, and I will start from the Make Power App portal. The first thing I have to do is to check a prerequisite, which is that the pros solution for Dynamics must be installed in your portal. So that's, I see that's the case here. And once it's done, I just have to click on Create here in the Left Explorer and start creating a blank model-driven app. So for that, I will just give it a name. And if I want to leverage the object from the pros managed solution, I just have to do it in the advanced section when creating the app here. And when I click on create, my app is already available, so I can start adding a page in there. And I can also start granting access to the Dataverse objects that are required for the, let's say, the good behavior of the overall Power App. So namely, I have to insert the quote and quote lines. opportunity and opportunity lines, and finally the account. So after that, you have all the Power App capabilities to enrich your solution. And just do not forget to save and publish the solution so it's made available. And there, congratulations, you have your new Power App embedding Smart CPQ available, and you can start testing it from the CRM. So you just have to access the app switcher in there and to select the app you have just created. And from there, you have the exact same experience as in the demo I showed you earlier, meaning you can access Smart CPQ from the code object of the CRM, leveraging the exact same Power App component. Okay, so really, this is a good approach if you need all the CPQ capabilities that I've demonstrated in the first demo, but without requiring the full CRM capabilities. Okay, and now, the last awesome feature I'm excited to introduce has actually just been released a couple of weeks ago. And it's the capability to interact with Smart CPQ from Microsoft Power Pages. So if you will, Microsoft Power Pages can be seen as a portal from which your customers or partners will be able to interact with the Smart CPQ module, so with the catalog, the configurator, and the code interfaces. But it's not just a separated portal. It's actually a new selling channel that you put in place so that your sales rep can directly interact with your customers and partners. And not only can they interact on quotes, but also on every other types of objects that are available in the Microsoft Dataverse. So technically speaking, what it means is that you will have the Microsoft Power Pages website for your customers or partners. You will have the Dynamics integration with Smart CPQ available for your sales rep. And then, thanks to Power Automate and thanks to the Microsoft Dataverse, everything that is available to your sales rep in the CRM can be made available to your customers or partners in the portal. So let me detail that part a bit. So you already have seen this sales journey for the integration of Smart CPQ with Dynamics. And that's where your sales rep start creating a quote in the CRM, open it in CPQ, add the product, or configure the product, negotiate the price, and so on. And then the sales rep synchronize the content back to the CRM and continue the workflow there. Okay? So with the Power Pages approach, you will be able to do the same, but from the Microsoft Power Pages. Meaning that by default, the Pro solution comes with a template of portal that you can leverage as such or that you can customize. And so in that example, a customer or partner of yours can start creating a quote in that portal. In the same way, they can open that quote in Smart CPQ, do exactly the same thing as what a sales rep would do in Smart CPQ. So again, browse the catalog, configure the product, price it, and so on. And very similarly to the sales rep experience in the CRM, they will be able then to synchronize that content back to the Dataverse and to continue the ongoing workflow there. And the last thing I want to mention is, well, basically that's where the magic happens. Meaning that everything that I've just presented can be actually mixed between those two workflows and at every level of those workflows. So meaning that, for instance, you can have the sales rep starting by creating a quote in the CRM, and then your customer or partner will be able to access that very same quote, but from the Power Pages portal. In the same fashion, both persona here can access Smart CPQ and interact simultaneously in the CPQ interface as well. And ultimately, let's say they will be able to complete the ongoing workflow. So either in the CRM for the sales rep or in the portal for the customer or partner. And that entirely depends on what you allow your customers or partners to do from the Power Pages portal. For instance, you can say that you want to prevent them to complete the workflow themselves and let that to your sales rep. All the combinations are possible with this approach. So I want to show you that in action. Sorry, yeah, here is a clicker. So for this last demo, what I want to show you is a complete process around this integration with Microsoft Power Pages. So from the creation of the site itself, from its use by your partner and your sales rep, and ultimately, I want to show you how you can customize what we provide by default to benefit from this integration. So for an administrator, the journey will start by, in the Power Pages portal, where he will be able to create a site from the pros template we provide by default. So for that, in the portal, he just has to click on Create a Site. From there, he will be able to select a template of site, so we can start from a blank one. We will give a name and a URL to that site, and then you will be able to import the pros template in the system, so that your website will be available based on that template. From there, a partner can start directly coding from the interface that we provide by default. So as you can see here, we have a list of codes available for that specific partner. So by clicking on Create, he has access to a code form to create a code both in the portal and in the Dataverse in that case. So we can give the code name, select the currency, select the price list, possibly set the reference to the customer. And then he will have, he will have to choose the pros setup object, which is more or less what makes the link with the Smart CPQ scenario. By clicking on Submit, it creates the codes both in the portal and make it available in the Dataverse. And from there, the partner will be able to open it first in the portal to review its content, and then thanks to an action that we provide by default in our solution, he will be able to switch to Smart CPQ from the portal. So from there, the experience is similar to the one I showed you earlier, meaning from the portal, he can access the CPQ catalog, start adding some products in the quote. Actually, he can also do that from the search and add capabilities available from the code grid directly. And once product has been added to the quote, you can just close it so that it's synchronized back to the Dataverse. And that's where your sales rep can come into play. So on the very basis of that quote you've just created in the portal, the sales rep can complete the order placement in the CRM. So in the list of quotes available in the CRM, he will be able to retrieve the one created by a partner earlier. He will be able to open it in the CRM, so you see it's the very same content that the one we had in CPQ. And thanks to our Power App component, you can switch to Smart CPQ, start reviewing the content filled in by the partner from the portal, and then complete that code. So in that case, we can imagine that you can set some discount. So this is something you only want your sales to do, and you don't want, obviously, your partner or customer to grant the discount for you. So once the sales rep has done that, you just have to close the code again. And so it will be synchronized back to the CRM in that case. But the good thing is that it could also be available from the portal again for your partner. The last thing I want to show you is that obviously you can start by leveraging the example of the pros Power Pages that we provide by default. Okay, so you can use the Power Pages portal to start customizing that portal that we provide by default. So you can change the logo, you can change title, you can play on the styling of your portal. And obviously you can do a much advanced rework, by changing the component in each page, adding some page, adding some media, some images, videos, and so on. Okay, so you can customize it from the ground. The good thing is that you have an alternative, which is you start from your existing Power Pages portal, and then you integrate the pros component directly in there. So you see that this portal is fancier than the one we provide by default. It's just that in the one by default, you have everything plugged already. So one thing I'd like to mention as well is that in your portal, as you can see, you can not only access to quotes, but also to other type of Dataverse objects. So in that case, you can review your opportunity before creating a quote from that opportunity, for instance. So here you can recognize the list of quotes and the form of the quote object. But again, all of this can be customized. And again, so it's been a bit fast here, but from this experience, then you have access to all the capabilities of Smart CPQ every time. So really, this one is really interesting because it's not just, well, it's actually what multi-channel is about, right? Here you can see that two different personas can interact synchronously or asynchronously on the very same object, on the very same quotes from two different channels. And that's the power of Smart CPQ within Microsoft Power Pages. And with that last demo, that concludes my presentation for today. So if you have any question, I'd be happy to answer some now. And if not, you can access the booth afterwards. So yes.